Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Big Ideas podcast. I'm obviously joined here by Jesse, Micro2Macr0. This is our third episode, man.
I know, it's crazy. It's
What
going
we
fast already.
what did we do the first time we spoke on
Was it so
Bitcoin miners?
Yeah, Bitcoin miners, then Hood.
Yeah, then
Now
Robinhood,
this.
now PayPal. And this one, in my opinion, is the one that I'm excited about the most out of all the
Ooh, cool.
positions or different things that we spoke about. This is my largest position so far. So
Really?
well,
I did
not my portfolio, but compared to Bitcoin miners or
Oh,
Robinhood,
sure. Okay.
it's definitely
Gotcha.
the largest that we've covered.
Yes.
You know, SoFi, Nubank, all those companies are bigger positions, and then other stuff. But we might talk about Nvidia soon, supposedly. So that'll be my absolute biggest stock in my portfolio right now.
Nice. Yeah, you've got an advantage over me. I have never. Well, I mean, I owned Nvidia for like a week one time, so I'm not on that train.
Gotcha. Well, man, I should have sold more of it potentially and put it into Solana. That's one conversation we have to have because that's my biggest crypto, and that is ripping right now.
Is it again? It just
my
keeps
God.
going up. 182. It's up like
Yeah,
$100 in a month or something. I don't even know.
It's crazy. It's crazy. You started getting me into what is it? Invest Answers? Is that what it is?
Yeah, James is just brilliant. He's so analytical. Do you ever watch him?
Yeah, I can't believe the quality of his live streams. They're unbelievable.
He's just got and he's so brilliant. He has pulled in a mass of really smart people that do some of the heavy lifting for him now too at his Patreon. And so like he's just got a wealth of knowledge, and then he's so brilliant himself. And every day he comes up with just amazing content. It's stupid.
It's
hard. Yeah, I don't even know
watch him. I don't. So I just started watching him now that the crypto rip is starting to happen again.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to turn this into just all about crypto or whatever. We will talk about PayPal. Just let some people roll in, but it always sounds like he's out of breath. Like he just came from a run and then he starts recording.
I think he goes nonstop, dude. James is a badass. Like he can whip out 3 or 4 pieces of amazing content where I'm like, it might take me 3 days just to get that one thing done. And he's done 4 of them.
Crazy. Like,
yeah, it's nuts. He's so dedicated, but I'm sure he's just raking in the money. And I listen to people who have talked to him before or that are on his Patreon and all this other stuff. I am too. I can't keep up with it. I'm trying to do my own thing. But they love him, and he's made them a ton of money. And Solana alone, I mean, he was the person who got me into that. So I owe him too. He's a good dude. Real good dude.
What's it called? So why don't we jump in and start talking about a little bit of PayPal right now? Someone said, "Who are you guys talking about?" I think his YouTube channel is Invest Answers. His name's James.
Yep, he's brilliant. Like 500,000 followers or something.
Yeah, more. Big crypto guy. However, I saw a video on his about Tesla too, and he can break down anything. So
he can do everything. He does a little bit of macro. He's into politics. I love it. He's got a pretty good head on his shoulders, man.
Let's go ahead and jump into PayPal though. So PayPal, massive payments company. Does over $1 trillion a year in total payment volume, about 1.6 trillion, I think, is what they're coming up on. But a lot of people, a lot of the newer age, consumers are starting to switch over to Google Wallet or Apple Pay, these sorts of solutions. On the other end, we lost Jesse for a sec. He'll be back. It's his terrible computer that he spent like $8,000 on or something. Anyway, so this massive company is potentially seeing competition against Stripe and Adyen. And then on the remittance side, they're facing competition from Wise and Remitly and MoneyGram and, Western Union. They're getting faced from all fronts. Right? They have gone in and ended up trying to acquire a bunch of companies to find new revenue streams that they have since divested from. It just seemed like in the last, 5 or 10 years where they've had an amazing advantage, they might have squandered a little bit of that market lead. And now they have some fierce
the whole time.
So
Yeah, you won't get an argument from me there. I mean, they definitely squandered at least 5 years worth of time, probably closer to a decade.
yeah.
And they fell behind on a lot of stuff, so they have a lot of catching up to do. It's a good thing Alex Chris is at the helm. And then I don't know if you got to listen to the video that I had with the CFO talking just the other day. She was brilliant, man.
Jamie
She,
Miller.
yeah, she definitely. I have no doubt that they deliberately like talked down expectations heavily in Q1 now after listening to her. Um, there's a whole bunch of things like they're being conservative too. They're taking the SoFi approach, which I think is kind of smart. They're expecting more delinquencies. They're expecting smaller interest rate payouts. They're kind of planning for the worst and hoping for the best. And I think that that's a smart way to go about it. And I think they're just picking up low hanging fruit right and left. And they didn't count a bunch of stuff like some branded checkout revenue and other things aren't counted in their forecast for the year. They're kind of they were positioning it for pain and suffering and struggle. And I think that that's a really brilliant move. And they do have a ton of catching up to do. But like there's this Barron's article that just came out, I think it was today, that says that it's time to buy PayPal. And I would agree with Barron's. This thing's been beat up for a long time. You know, it's got a $10.5 billion buyback program, and they are catching up. There's some really cool articles and things that have come out with like PayPal Complete and the fact that that's been deployed just about everywhere, Europe, Canada, all over the place, with new additions and product enhancements in like Australia and other countries.
Uh, oh wow, lost him again. So gives me a chance to speak though. So I didn't get to check this Barron's article. I don't know if I'm allowed to put it on the screen or not.
Can you hear me?
I was just talking about, yeah, okay, here's the article. I haven't read this. PayPal stock has fallen far enough. It's time to buy. Yeah, did you get to read this? This is
Yeah, a
from
little
yesterday,
bit. And
actually.
the gist, the short version of it is that they're saying, hey, this stock, it's not going to take hardly anything for this thing to be re-rated and start to take off. And I agree with that. I want to show something real quick, just from a technical standpoint. We can jump all over the place. You can talk to what you want to talk to too, but I want to show you this on their chart. So if you pop that up, but so after that meeting with the CFO, what was her first name again?
Jamie.
Jamie. Okay, thank you. After the meeting with Jamie, we popped like 5%, and we've been grinding up against this resistance line, which has been resistance for over 2 years. And so from a technical level, this thing wants to go. And then again, with Barron's articles like that, Barron's has a pretty wealthy subscriber base, and just all the positive things that they're working on and watching some of those translate. I mean, they were starting to get better even before Alex came on. And I just, from everything I'm hearing, and like what you said, let's just take a step back. There is a lot of competition, but a decent amount of those companies are probably closer to death than they are becoming competitive. And the market TAM is massive, and it's eating legacy.
I think
So
that's the part that people really undersell is how
yeah,
much payments is growing. Like it's
yeah, the
still one
entire
of the
thing.
fastest growing markets. Like, and that's always been my sort of bull thesis is even if you are the slowest player in the best market, you're going to do well. And
Yeah,
whenever you're pricing out this player to have no growth, like zero growth, which is where
yeah.
they're being placed, I think people are going to be unbelievably shocked to the upside.
And yeah, yeah. And then you could take what you just said and say, okay, well, this company actually manages like 25% of the world's e-commerce, and they've got a 70% consumer recognition rate when somebody pumps in their email address. Like and then they're streamlining, they're doing like the NFC stuff. They're doing all these things to basically just make it to where it's like instant, even offline. They're managing transactions. And then you've got Alex Chris, who's focused on trying to figure out the advertising side of the business when they have 70% consumer recognition and they're dealing a quarter of the e-commerce for the world. It's like I just see there's so much, the paths out of all the possibilities, the paths of their success are so much more than their failure right now, in my opinion. And so to me, this is just such an easy bet, especially when you have like it's a leverage play with leaps that can give you 10 to 20x on the top end. It's just nuts. It's nuts to me. It's nuts. It's a great opportunity. It's like a Bitcoin level opportunity, but with something that's more boring in nature.
I talk about this very famous investor from time to time called Don Valentine. And surprisingly, people haven't heard of him by his name, but maybe people have heard of the company that he has founded, which is Sequoia Capital, the most successful venture capitalist company in the world. And Don started this company based on, if you buy the absolute best newspaper company, you're going to have a very hard time, right? If you buy a slightly okay internet company during, the booms in early 2000s, you're still going to make a lot of money. And so, sorry about, Jesse's connection right now, but with the way that PayPal is going right now, and I want to talk about the actual numbers. I want to break through some of these statistics because a lot of people are starting to get pretty fear-mongering about the idea that this stock is going to continue to find newer and newer lows. And I think that their actual fundamentals are saying a complete opposite sort of thing. Can I go through a couple of different statistics?
Totally. Yeah. My session seems to. Are you losing video for me every once in a while?
Yeah, you're dropping out. I have to put you back in every now and then.
I drop myself to 720p. Hopefully it'll help. I don't know.
Okay. Okay, so let's look in this now. Keep in mind, these are quarterly updates, so I'm not talking annually. This is just in the most recent quarter. And also, we're talking about Q4, which is a holiday season, spending will be higher, okay? But then I can bring up my spreadsheet after to show that there are real trends that are happening here that are not just on Q4. I'll bring that up later on. Welcome back, Jesse.
Yeah, I'm dropping myself way down. I'm going to be like 240p in a second, but
that's perfectly fine. You make me look good. Okay, so highest reported earnings that the company has ever seen was Q4. This most recent quarter, highest reported revenue. Not normally seen in dying companies. Highest reporting earnings per share, EPS. They saw their highest reported total payment volume. They saw their highest reported total payment transactions. They saw their highest reported monthly active users, which also saw the fastest growth that they've ever seen at 6 million plus new monthly active users.
Crazy.
Okay. They saw their highest reported average revenue per monthly active. They saw, I'm going to keep saying highest reported, so get used to it. It's going to get annoying, but it's because the list that I wrote out is extensive. The transactions per active, excluding Braintree and these sorts of things. So just talking about the branded transactions, okay, they saw their highest transactions per active on the branded side. Transaction margin dollars, so including all of their expenses, both on transaction expenses and credit losses, also saw the highest number they've ever reported. Total take rate inflected this quarter. Total transaction take rate inflected this quarter. Operating margins went to a point we haven't seen since early 2021. Yeah. And we're also at the lowest share count that this company has been at. I checked in the last 5 years, so about 2018 or so. I didn't have a way to look at it, accurately past that. But so you're stacking up lowest share count, all of these things that are hitting massive highs, and people are saying that this is a dead stock.
And on top of that, on top of everything you said, which was a lot, we're at the price it was at 6.5 years ago.
Thank you.
So it's just absolutely obscene. I'm going to share real quickly the screen while we chat because I think it's helpful. It's the visual stocks one. But
it was a lot. I apologize for all the things, but this is a good way to look at it.
Yeah, but it's freaking awesome, man. Like, again, outstanding shares like you were talking about are crazy. If I go to yearly, when this is wide, it doesn't look as impressive. That's what she said. But
you're squeezing it in to make it look better.
yeah, right. Hey, man, this is how you do stuff. But it's just nuts when you look at this growth, like in revenue segments. Transaction margins were the area that was killing this company because it had no focus. But Jamie, our new CFO, said straight up, we will roll through all of these acquisitions figure out if they're beneficial to the business and if we should be applying more to them, or if they don't belong. And so she straight up said, yes, we care, about top line and about operating leverage, but margins are our focus right now. So like areas where they've been weak are getting ready to get hella better. And again, when you look at total payment volume, really active customer account and transaction margins were the pain points. But now that's going away. And this company is just set to fly, man, in my opinion.
So if Ale is watching, Alejandro, so I think he said that he was going to be watching. This is his software that you're reviewing.
Yeah, he's great.
Up until most recently, they were not showing off their monthly active accounts. I'd really appreciate if he shares that as well, because I think it highlights an important part. So they used to show off active customer accounts, which is that purple bar that looks like it's just slowly plateaued or even decreasing. But as of the most recent quarter, sorry?
Oh, we should totally add it. Alejandro, do that, buddy.
Oh, he will. That's the thing. His
response will really quickly.
But here, let me see if I can bring that up.
Show it. I'd love to see that too. Yeah, there's so much. There's so much going. It's almost hard to keep track. It reminds me of Robinhood. It's like there's so many good things happening right now. It's hard to focus.
Let me see if I can get a good zoom here. Is that okay? So monthly active accounts is this bar that I'm lining up right here. So this is 206 million users, then 211, 213, 219. Then it actually drops down because this is the holiday. The Q4s are the holiday season. So you can kind of see bumps in their business. It's quite cyclical. But the tops that we're seeing in 2023 are higher than the Q4s that we've seen previously. So we're hitting new highs annually, right?
Yep.
But anyway, that broke a new high at 224 million users.
Cool.
So
That's so
people
many more.
continue to come back. It's not just active accounts that we look at, because this is what PayPal, Dan Schulman said they messed up. Okay. They went out trying to acquire every and all users possible, but really people were just signing up to accept the, reward, the sign up incentive. And then they were never using the software. Right.
Yep.
We don't need those people. We don't just need a big number if they're not actually going to translate to more actual revenue or bottom line growth.
Sure.
So the real focus now in the business is finding the customers that are actually going to use the software. So monthly active users, and then trying to bring up how many transactions they make per, month essentially, or per quarter. So transactions per active. People are using this software more and more and more. And that's not just Braintree growth. This is also on, PayPal's actual checkout growth. 33.5 transactions is the monthly active user average for PayPal. That's a ton.
Awesome. That's awesome. Again, those metrics, what was that? 3 million more monthly active accounts than they've ever had. Like,
yes. Yeah.
I think that's kind of a big deal. And again, this is just in the beginning. I can tell you the mobile app is getting updated all the time. And again, they're incorporating a bunch of new features. They're starting to incorporate advertising more. And the mobile app kind of sucked. Venmo was better out of the two. There's a lot of stuff they can streamline, and they're hitting it aggressively. While I could see every quarter seeing metrics that are getting better in my vision. Q1 is going to be great. Q2 is going to go up.
Statistic that everyone hated. Okay.
Yeah.
Crossroads and I had not a bet going. We didn't place anything real, but we had two different sides of the argument here. That transaction margin was not going to inflect in this recent quarter. I said that it would, and it actually did. Luckily enough.
I was shocked. I was hoping it would. I think at the beginning I was like, yeah, I hope it does, but I don't expect it to. And it was shocking to see that it actually already went positive. And these guys.
Oh, we lost them. Just to look at a couple other statistics while we're here, because I'm a statistics junkie. This random assortment of letters right here is average revenue per monthly active customer. So,
all right, at least I hope it lasted longer. Maybe that's positive.
Yeah,
but I was going to say they replaced their entire executive team in the last couple of weeks. I think there's been 5 replaced. They're even stealing a guy from SoFi.
I think it's 9 actually,
Is it
Jesse.
9 now?
Yeah,
Jeez,
it's 9.
that's crazy. But there's so much going on with these guys right now. It's awesome. I'm
And
very excited for this company. And again, from a technical standpoint, the chart wants to break out. And once that happens, once the sea opens up with the narrative changes, all of the people that crawl into their hole that were talking shit about it and or buy it, it's just how it works in every market. In every market, I don't know how many people were telling me that Robinhood was garbage and telling me that this is the same group that screwed them and GameStop and all this stuff. Those people are completely gone now that the price is going up. This is what happens. It happens with everything. It happened with Palantir. It happens with Tesla when the price is up. It happens with every stock out there. The naysayers run away, and then everybody starts raising valuations, and it's a race to the top. And
and
I
this
think
is
PayPal is headed towards that because the fundamentals are pushing it that way. Ten and
and
a half
now we're
billion
starting to
dollars they
see
can buy back.
we're
Sorry,
starting
go
to
ahead.
see the smart money come in and buy it now. I just saw Monash Pabrai just took a position.
Saw
3.2% of
that.
his Wagons Fund portfolio just went into
It's like three
PayPal.
and a half or whatever it was.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. And that's a small amount for him, but that's a hell of a lot of money.
Got to start somewhere. If it
Yeah,
stays
yeah.
down
And
this
I
long and they continue to improve, he's going to keep building out that portfolio.
Yeah,
But
and again, all the Fin Twitters, all the analysts, all the CNBC pundits, they all love to jump and chase money. It's like 70% of this game for these people. So it's coming. There's a flood coming, and the narrative will turn so quickly it'll make your head spin, and you might have to go see a chiropractor. But
so
I'm feeling it.
let's talk about another part to this story because
Yeah.
most recently, Alex Chris got into a little bit of hot water because he said that, well, I know that you've debated this, but
Huh.
that he said that he was going to shock the world. And now what people are interpreting from that is that he meant what PayPal is going to do over a long term. But
Yeah.
in the same interview where he was talking about having a certain meeting, I think it was like January 5th or something like this,
Yeah.
was also whenever he said that he was going to shock the world. So people thought that that was going to happen in that meeting.
Yeah, it was really
So
stupid.
they talked about 6 main product announcements. A lot of people were very
Yeah.
disappointed. You, on the other hand, were very, very pleased with the announcements that were made. What did you like? We can talk about some of those announcements if you'd like.
Yeah, I liked all of it. I liked Fastlane. I liked hearing about more about big commerce. Some of the stuff from a detail perspective was newer to me. I wasn't involved. You and like Crossroads and some of these other guys, you guys go deep into the weeds. You got like the financial statements memorized for each quarter. That is not me. And so I was very impressed with what I was listening to. I thought it was great that he was getting something out to merchants. I could totally see why people were pissed off because you go on CNBC and say you're going to shock the world, and then you have this coming up like a week or two later, whatever it was. You like there are high expectations. You could see them all over X. But I thought, like again, I thought the Fastlane thing, the 70% recognition, just streamlining processes, making it to where there's less friction. I worked in the software industry for over 10 years, from a support person who would provide feedback to try and get things fixed for our urgent care customers. And in an urgent care environment, you kind of have to have the fucking software working. Like
Sure.
when people die, it's not cool. So that was kind of a big deal. And you see how these systems work. You see how the reporting works. You understand how the corporations work. You understand how the code stacks and the effort and then I did that again with another company that did like a CRM, customer relationship management tools, where we'd like integrated ERPs and like enterprise resource planning stuff, like all these different systems into each other. And so you get the pain of silos, you get the pain of reporting, you get the pain of getting anything done and being effective at it. And again, just for me, listening to what this guy's plans were, it's like, that's perfect, man. This is great. He's taken out low hanging fruit. He's also taken out the big stuff and getting it to where the reporting silos are gone. He's trying to get it to where, these two independent products are melded into one, which they should be, right? Like you shouldn't have two completely apps doing the same thing between Venmo and PayPal. It makes no sense at all. So you want to consolidate that and merge those as aggressively as people will allow you to, and get everything into one platform, if nothing else, just to save operating expense. But and again, you want to make things simple. You want to make them easy. You want to make it intuitive. You want to do like the Apple, Tesla, minimalist. It works. You know where everything is. And I was hearing all those things, and that's what made me excited about it, especially when I go through the PayPal app. And you've heard my complaints before. Like, I don't want to sit in a grocery store for 20 fucking minutes trying to figure out how I can pay with this thing, only to have a manager go like, I know it says we accept PayPal. I don't know what the fuck is going on. And since you can't figure it out,
they don't see it.
Please pay and leave, because we have other people that want to get food here. And again, like, there's like 7 ways to do things on the app. It's like, I want somebody who's going to tackle all of that stuff. And he's got a history of doing it.
Jamie just said that in the most recent fireside chat. She said, on web, like on desktop, we're perfect. Yeah. On mobile, we're behind. And we know that. And that's our number one goal. And even if it's just bringing things like facial ID and fingerprint scanning to make sure that you can log in efficiently without multiple steps, like, that doesn't sound like the most innovative thing, but that brings you up to par with competition that you might have to run from PayPal to these other solutions to find, less friction. And so PayPal already has the largest audience. A lot of it is not trying to just make, the most innovative product. It's just about having something where people don't have to leave.
Just catch up. Keep them from going to other products. And then you can get innovative at the same time. But you want to at least keep the bleeding from stopping. And then you want to figure out how to make money from the people that are there. And they've got 3 million more monthly active users. And now they can actually start aggressively targeting these, figuring out advertising, allowing small merchants who have no power to be able to have 70% customer recognition. And that's going to apply with advertising too, right? As they start to store data and do all the Meta stuff, all the Amazon stuff. So I just think it's brilliant. I think people are way underestimating this company.
Let's watch it. I've got a 30-second clip lined up, just so if the people aren't or don't know the 6 innovations that we're talking about, PayPal made this short little clip. It's 30 seconds long.
Oh yeah, cool.
That just goes over their innovations. I haven't seen this yet, but.
Welcome to PayPal First Look. We are on a mission to revolutionize commerce. I'm going to share with you 6 new innovations that we believe change the world of payments and commerce, including new PayPal solutions for merchants to speed up checkout and personalize offers, a new consumer app, and a look at the next generation of Venmo. And the best part, we're just getting started.
Okay, that didn't talk about it at all.
No, it doesn't. It's a longer video.
Yeah,
but it covers it covers everything, and it's great. Like, again, Fastlane, it talks about small businesses and how they're going to empower them through social media and just having access to data. Like, they don't need to give the people that are involved with it, but since they have 70% customer recognition, if you know that there are all these customers in a region, and you can look at 70% of them and say, I know these people kind of purchase products like me. And then you can advertise to those people without knowing their identity, but have PayPal do all that stuff behind the scenes to, keep confidentiality at the same time, but allow them to be able to really hit targets. Again, you're looking at like Meta, YouTube, all that kind of stuff. Here's part of it.
We don't have to watch the whole thing, but this is essentially Fastlane right here. All you need to do is fill out your email, and then they will connect it to the information that they know about you already.
Yeah, and then they can help auto-populate all that stuff.
Yeah, they do it all behind the scenes, and then
you can as little as 1 tap. No username or password to remember. No personal info to update. No need to share a credit card with businesses all over the web. PayPal recognizes you.
Simple as that.
That's brilliant.
Man, no one, or not as many people, though, I find, are paying attention to smart receipts. This product right here as well, I think, is super cool. Essentially, in people's actual receipts that they receive, PayPal noticed that they have a very, it's almost like a moat in a way, or unique unique piece to the receipts where 45% of people check their PayPal receipts, which is way, way higher than the industry norm.
Sure.
And just for some reason, I always check my PayPal receipts too. I don't know what it is. I do. So they're going to be putting on advertising through their receipts. So you could say, hey, you just bought this. Okay. We have 100 million points of data that would point to the fact that you love these new blue shoes that are coming out. Why don't you go ahead and buy them or pre-order them or whatever?
Yeah.
And they'll say that within the receipt. And what's important about that, advertising has been done a ton. The idea that they will only charge the merchant for that advertising if the person has checked out. Right?
Yeah.
How cool
You know
is
they're already a buyer.
Yeah,
You know
it's
they fit a
guaranteed.
demographic of what you're looking for or purchase history. It's all so smart, man.
And
It's
then
all so smart.
how much can a merchant charge if or sorry, how much can PayPal charge as the platform if it's for only guaranteed, like transactions, right? They could charge instead of, small percentages for impressions or for clicks through links for actually buying the product. It could be 20 or 15, 20% per buy as what PayPal would receive for that advertisement.
Yeah, advertising isn't even clued into their revenue stream, man. And it's insane what, again, like when I purchase something on Venmo, I get an instant communication and on my phone that it's been completed. They could literally embed the smart receipts after every purchase, have it right there, get you to where you always look like, oh, hey, what are they giving me a coupon for? It's like the old way that they did stuff with like Walgreens or a grocery store where you get like a 3-foot long receipt when you buy some toothpaste. But this is actually smart and geared towards the purchaser and what their history is. And it's going to be relevant to them. And they can identify 70% of these people based upon their email address. Again, between like Fastlane and this, just everything that they're doing, I think it's just going to get smarter and quicker, and they're data driven. That's why they got their silos consolidated right at the beginning, because they know that they need to understand everything that's happening with their data so that they can move forward and make enhancements and make changes. And go ahead.
I was just going to pivot a little bit to a different topic.
Cool.
So you actually got a pretty exciting retweet from pretty smart investor named Tom Lee.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
It was based on a tweet around PayPal, but as a proxy trade on cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
You want to talk a little bit on that, and then I can.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's that way from a number of advantages. Let me do something real quick. I'm going to show you this. So this is just one part. I mean, it's just a thing, and I think Crossroads wrote something about this, but it's PayPal Zoom offering for free remittance for stablecoin users. It's not really free. There's going to be foreign exchange conversion, and then there's probably some float with it.
Yeah,
but it can help, huh?
It's just reduced, or it's making the transaction fee part of it.
Yeah,
free, not
but
the
for some of these people, I mean, depending upon where you live in the world, the margins for PayPal will be huge, and it will still be significantly cheaper for a lot of people versus like existing systems that they might use. And so they're becoming competitive with this. And I think that they could really try and lower those fees as much as possible, because they don't actually have, well, I mean, it depends. They might have some foreign conversion, like at the end, turning PYUSD to something, but the actual PYUSD could float from one place to another, and then theoretically be reused without ever being converted to something else if the country that it's in accepts it, or there's vendors that accept it. So this, like doing this kind of thing where you have a currency somewhat like Bitcoin, but cheaper and easier to transmit, is brilliant. And when you can lower these fees for people, that's great. And then there's a big narrative behind it that you're tied with crypto. And not even just that, you can buy Bitcoin. And like, even I think it's my Venmo card, I get reimbursed with Ethereum as my membership reward.
Cool.
And so you could buy crypto. They've got their own stable coin, and the stable coin they'll be able to earn float off of that. And that's a huge deal. I don't have it pulled up, but like Tether made like, I don't know if it was 2.5 billion or something over what period of time, but
Uh-oh, lost him there for a sec. I'm just showcasing the website where they talk about how you can buy and sell and trade or send crypto via the PayPal app. I'm going to bring up the Venmo now, but go
yeah.
ahead, Jesse.
Yeah, no, I was just saying they could make a massive amount of money just off a float. If they get a couple $1 billion or 5 billion, or I think they could go even higher this cycle, depending upon how aggressive they are with this and how if they help with like lower fees, the narrative could get really strong while they grow their customer base. What I would do is try not to make any margin with this product, the PYUSD. I would do it at cost. I would do it at cost just to embed people in the system and get them to use it. And then you could dial it up and turn up stuff over time. But I would use it to just crush competition. And again, they already control 25% of e-commerce. They already have such a massive advantage with 70% identification from email address. It's like they could roll over competition easily, I think. Incorporate their ideas and offer products they can't compete with.
Well, what's really exciting as well is you know that PayPal USD is a massive cost save whenever they're starting to, I don't know if you saw this, PayPal actually funded one of their PayPal ventures using PayPal USD. And now they want to start paying their vendors using PayPal USD. So
awesome.
They're not just telling their customers to use it. They want to transact in it because it's a cheaper way to send essentially information, right? So
yeah, and it's great. And you build out your ecosystem at the same time.
Yeah.
So, win-win.
I wanted to bring up, I don't know how fast it'll take for me to find this. Here it is. So I'm grabbing this from Brad Freeman's PayPal deep dive, where this was back, I think 2 years ago, something like this. So back in the last crypto cycle, back in 2021, I think.
Yeah.
So Venmo ended up launching their own crypto buying product. They launched it with Paxos, right? Listen to this quote that I'm about to grab from Brad Freeman's thing here. Within months, 30% of Venmo users, so about 25 million people, ended up signing up to start using Venmo's crypto products. 25 million people. Okay.
Yep.
That increased Venmo's customer lifetime value from $10 to $35 just through that one product. Just through 30% of Venmo customers signing up for crypto. And now we're going through a crypto cycle that could rip much, much higher than the last cycle.
They should embrace it in every way they can.
And so I don't even think that the only crypto play for PayPal is just in PayPal USD. I also just think it's in being essentially a brokerage for crypto themselves. They have a take rate on those, the way that Block does, the way that Coinbase does, the way that Robinhood does.
They just need more coins. They've got some of the basics.
Yeah.
They're a little bit like Robinhood's the same way. Robinhood does not have a good selection. Both of these companies should be increasing. They should at least have Solana, have the chain with like the highest transaction volumes outside of Bitcoin. Like they should do some strategic moves to get it to where they start to get people to use their service, because Coinbase is just running with it right now, man. They're getting so much in the way of fees. And if they would just add a few additional ones, they would benefit greatly at both of them. And I think they will. I think they'll jump on the bandwagon, because you're right. Like the Venmo part, it's like it became so much more valuable overnight. Why wouldn't you do more of that? Nobody gives a fuck about Bitcoin Cash. Take that shit off there.
Yeah.
It's something better. Nobody cares about Litecoin, Bitcoin Silver. They don't even know about that. Like they need to get some new stuff
for the basic people, especially. I think the audience that they're attracting on Venmo.
Sure.
Even Bitcoin and Ethereum is a massive part of the market. Like what does Bitcoin and Ethereum together make up for market cap in crypto?
Oh, it's huge. Yeah, it's huge.
It's over 50%, right?
I could pull it up. Yeah, it's a lot. But they could add Solana on there. They could add like put the top 5 on there. Don't have shit that nobody cares about anymore that's down like 95% from its high. Like put some newer, more relevant stuff. But yeah, so market cap 1.8 trillion, 82 trillion right now between Bitcoin and Ethereum alone. And Solana is small, but its transaction volume is huge. So like even if they just added that, just add Solana, just do that. Like that it's like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana nowadays anyway. So I think they would get more in transaction volume. They just want a little more hype behind them. But I do think you're right. I think it's a sleeper. There are a bunch of people that are older that don't give a shit about any of these other ones. Every cycle there is. And there's people that are just getting into this. They don't even have to be older. They're just getting into it. They only want the brand names. Bitcoin. They want the big dogs. They want the stuff that makes up, 65% of the market right now. And that's all they want to touch. And so they should lean into that. And I think it's a sleeper. Like you said, I think that Hood's benefiting a lot right now. Nobody seems to be thinking about PayPal. They have their own stable coin. You can get apps. I can get paid in Ethereum for my membership rewards on Venmo. And nobody seems to be talking about this at all or even care. And I think that it's something that narrative can change very quickly.
Yeah. So going back, because I wanted to talk about this as well. In the most recent conversation, the fireside chat, Jamie Miller spoke about Braintree for a little bit. So just for context, for people that don't follow PayPal every day, people think whenever they think of PayPal as the big, checkout name that you see on all these e-commerce websites, but they also deal in a lot of large enterprise level, transactions, like working with Meta, working with Uber, working with a lot of these companies that don't necessarily need PayPal's name slapped all over their website, but they still do need the security, the speeds, and overall the payment processing that PayPal has to offer.
Sure.
So one of the things that they talked about in their most recent call, which I thought was so interesting, because the way that I've always was pitched Braintree is that whenever you're talking about the most influential payment providers for enterprise level solutions, Braintree really isn't brought up as the most modern solution. It's Adyen, it's Stripe, it's a lot of these more modern solutions rather than Braintree. And usually the way that Braintree has been making a lot of new customers is just by charging much cheaper than their competitors. Okay. And so this has almost been a loss leader, because whenever they can integrate Braintree, part of the deal is that you have to bring over the PayPal button. You have to let people buy with Venmo. And so they make their money on the back end of customers actually using them through their buttons through their website.
Sure.
The cool thing, the really, really interesting part, the reason why I'm bringing this up is that Jamie Miller actually said, no, that's changed. In fact, we're starting to go to market more expensive than a lot of our competitors, and yet we're still being picked. And that's
awesome.
We've increased our value, and now we're actually starting to price to that value, and that we're being more stern on the idea that, if we have better authorization rates, lower latencies, better efficiencies, that we can charge for that. And we're in the early innings of potentially seeing that in, actual better financial results, like better, net incomes, EBITDA, revenues, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. And again, with each thing that they enhance, with incorporating, Fastlane, with just getting a better job with their messaging, with tightening up the marketing, with making the mobile app better, with every enhancement where they create efficiencies, they have a stronger product and they can demand more for it. So I 100% agree. There's just, I think, and Jamie she's tough, man. I was very impressed with her. I was worried in that Q4 earnings call, man. I did not like her because she was just trash. Like, she was setting expectations so painfully low that I was watching. Like, I was like, hey, I think I'm gonna be up like 300 grand, and I'm down. Thank you, Jamie. You're wonderful. Thank you for all the things that you said during this call. But she made up for everything the other day, this week. She was very clear and concise and had a great message. And you could just tell it's real. It's not like she's not fluffing it up to try and make it. She's not a salesperson. She's just brutally honest with everything. She's honest on their deficiencies, and she's honest about their path forward and what they're working on. And I love that, if nothing else, just because I feel like going forward with these earnings calls, I feel like we're going to get more data, because that seems to be what they're focused on. And I think we'll be able to believe what we hear. And that's really important with
Well,
companies too, is knowing that they're not just pitching you a bunch of shit to try and get the stock price up, but that you're getting real information that you can, take to the bank. And I feel like we're getting all of that right now. I'm very excited about it, man.
so that's another thing that she brought up that you brought up that I think was
Yeah.
strong from Jamie, that she talked about their deficiencies, like things that weren't going so well. And they said, if we have to divest from some of these businesses that aren't working, we'll absolutely do that.
And she
So
reiterated that in this last call. She's like, we're going through the list.
yeah. And they have recently, like even in the last, like, I think 2 months or so, a company called Happy Returns, which would partner with a lot of like locations like, convenience stores and these sorts of things where you can go and bring your boxes, and then companies like UPS and these sorts of places would go to pick up those returns, and then they would partner and take a fee for that and all that sort of stuff. Then they ended up just selling that to UPS, probably a company that would be way better at running a business that is in logistics than PayPal.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The point that PayPal was even a part of that, like, yes, they were trying
They did
to
all right on the transaction, right? Sorry to interrupt, but did they do all right, like closing that down?
Yeah, they made a profit on the deal. So I don't remember the exact numbers. I think they bought it for something like 500 million, sold it for something like 900 million.
Oh, awesome.
So yeah, they did make profit on that because the company kept getting larger and larger over time. But that was just a thing with PayPal, is they were trying to do all these sorts of things. Most famously, if you guys remember, the absolute top, the peak of PayPal's price was right before they announced that they were trying to acquire Pinterest, right? What the heck is PayPal doing trying to acquire a $40 billion freaking social media company? They were getting so far away from what they actually were. And so in Alex Chris's term here at PayPal, he's noting, saying, we are not going to step away from the big goal of, we are a payments company. We want to have the digital wallet on the PayPal side, and then we also want to have the online APIs that allow for merchants to set up a way for them to take payments easily. Right? That's the business. And getting too far away from that is a large distraction. And some people can look to it as growth, but I think what actually ended up happening was that it actually turned to looking away from what they could have done with their core product, and actually
like an anchor.
Yeah.
Growth by acquisition is not ideal in my mind. It can help a stock price, but without vision, and then there's the problem of growing too quickly, acquiring a bunch, never actually integrating any of it really fully into your system with any kind of vision, and then moving on to the next thing. And then you just got a clusterfuck of a bunch of different businesses that don't align, that are very siloed. It's a nightmare. I mean, again, some of the companies that I work for, at least one of the software companies, was very much like that at the end before I left the company. It was just like, what are we doing and why are we doing it? Does anybody know why we're doing it? We just don't care anymore. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Also, she brought up the products that they are working on, like trying to enable their new product called PayPal Complete Payments, which is
they're aggressive on that.
Yeah, like essentially their SMB, like small to mid-sized business product, for setting them up the way they've been setting up Uber or Microsoft or all these companies. They want to have that same amazing full suite product for tiny little businesses.
Love it.
That is literally where Alex Chris came from. He came from the small to mid-sized business lead at Intuit, right? That's the reason why we hired him. So now they're saying they're seeing like massive growths on a month-to-month basis. That's literally what she said in the most recent Fireside Chat. We're seeing it on a month-to-month basis, new highs. Like, I'm very excited about that, because whenever you're doing that type of transaction, the take rates are much, much higher than whenever you're dealing with an Uber or something like this that are going to bully you down on price because they have so many options.
Yeah, well, and that's all unbranded anyway, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. No, I think it's brilliant, man. There's so much. Oh, hey, let me share this image. I think this is talking to your point, actually. Let me just share this real quick. It's Alex Chris talking about unbranded, or I'm sorry, PayPal Complete.
I got to
and going
address a
into
comment because this
Canada,
guy keeps.
UK, 20 other countries in Europe, and then adding to their portfolio in Australia and Germany with some of the features, like with Tap to Pay for iPhone for Venmo Business. Like they're just aggressively tackling all this stuff.
I got
And
to
I think
address this one guy in this chat because he's talking about
that,
all these different things. Like PayPal doesn't care about Uber; they care about Pixabay. I don't care about Pixabay. Okay, I use
like Pirate
Pixabay
Bay.
as a consumer.
Yeah.
But I mean, what are you even paying Pixabay for? I'm a free user. I've never paid Pix. Isn't the whole reason that they're like a, open source for imaging and stuff? What are you even paying Pixabay for? But anyway, Uber is definitely transacting more than Pixabay, so it does
Oh,
matter.
definitely.
Okay,
Yeah.
Floriphonic.
Even unbranded, you're happy with that.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
he keeps bringing up all these things. Like, relax, man. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I was just saying. So like this is just talking to what you were saying. It says it's Alex Chris saying we've been working hard at bringing new experiences to the market that help businesses win every sale. In just the last few weeks, we've expanded PayPal complete payments to Canada, the UK, more than 20 other markets in Europe, and added new features in Australia and Germany, and launched Tap to Pay on iPhone for Venmo Business Profile and PayPal Zettle customers in the US.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, like that tweet, that little tiny fucking paragraph says all you need to know about a company that has the ability to buy back $10.5 billion worth of shares and is seeing 3 million extra active customers on a monthly basis than what they've ever seen before. It's just like everything they're doing right now is firing off. I'm going to laugh my ass off. I don't know if you saw my PayPal video, but I gave people the finger at the end of it. Pseudo felt bad about that. But I am going to laugh my ass off when I make millions of dollars, or at least $1 million off of this trade that people have spent the last 8 months shitting on me for. So if you're one of the haters, guys, I'm coming for you. Sorry, that was just a rant I wanted to get out.
No, sorry, I was getting confused. Or the guy said Pixabay is actually Canva, so maybe Canva is taking payments in PayPal. Sorry, I was getting confused. And I'm a power user in Canva, as Jesse knows. Anyway,
more than me, man. You've seen my thumbnails.
Yeah, they're my thumbnails.
Yeah, literally. Or I take Snagit and I like take my head and paste it over like you, or put it in your hand, and then boom, I'm done.
So what's it called? Yeah, the Tap to Pay on iPhone is crazy. I think that
awesome.
they're not the only people to be using it, but it's hard to be competing without it. So the fact that we're staying modern and continuously putting out these high-end products, I mean, that is everything that we needed PayPal to do for the last 5 years. And now we're starting to see them really put up competition. And also things like with buy now, pay later and stuff, they are leading those products. It's not that they are trying to stay like in the race with a firm. They are by far like in the lead whenever it comes to buy now, pay later. It's crazy. And they never talk about it, which is very surprising, but they should more often because they're dominating in that space.
Yeah, and that could be so I look at it this way, towards the negative.
I don't know what he was going to say, so we'll wait. I'm going to assume it's going to be credit loss and these sorts of things, but
this sucks.
Go ahead. We're wrapping soon anyway. I got to go do the SoFi Weekly.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. I don't remember what I was going to say. Where were we at?
Potentially a negative side to their buy now, pay later products?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if we reach an economic downturn, which I think could happen, but I don't think it's going to happen for at least a year and a half, then buy now, pay later could be painful. It could be painful for all the companies that do this stuff. It's probably less painful for SoFi, somebody who looks for really high credit. But if and when that time comes, that could be a pain. And I think that's why Jamie was speaking to the fact that they're, preparing for higher delinquencies, because they're thinking for that. So if there's a bad side, it's that, but I don't see that coming for a very long time.
I'm sorry, I'm going back and forth with this Floriphonic guy who says, I respect your research, but I think that we should be focusing on digital products because the growth is faster. I disagree. I think that it's more important about total payment volume. So winning over large contracts might add tens of billions of dollars to PayPal's total payment volume, not what the growth will be going forward. Sorry.
And
Anyway,
advertising. If you can get small businesses to make a lot of money, if you can get them to make money off your product, they will get everybody to use it.
and actually, you know what? None of us, not me or Florophonic, has brought up the most exciting partnership that PayPal has made in recent history, which is Temu. They are, potentially one of the fastest growing e-commerce companies. Whether you think that you should use this company or not, they process a crap ton of payments, and PayPal is plastered everywhere on that website, everywhere.
Not a fan of Temu, but I'll take the money.
Yeah, I'll take the transactions. I don't care who owns the site. It's real money in PayPal's pocket.
Agreed. Yeah, that's very smart.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much. Jesse, you have anything to shout out?
No, man, I'm tired. I'm ready to chill.
All right, man. This has been a longer episode anyway. If you guys are interested in SoFi content, I am doing a show at 10 p.m. tonight. So that'll be on my channel at Future Investing. So thank you all so much for watching, and bye for now.
All right. See ya.